Welcome to Pitstop to Profits, the podcast for hustlers, fleet builders, and entrepreneurs, where they know that every pit stop is fuel for the next profit move. I'm your host, Sterling, and today we're going to discuss why Turo is not passive income. However, it can still be profitable if you allow it to be. So, a hot topic that I see often on social media, YouTube, etc., is the idea or the concept of passive income. I don't think there's anything in life that is truly passive income. Like, we all need to work at something. And you'll see these guys storytelling about how they have bought this system or bought this vehicle or whatever it may be, and it's just been hands off for them. They don't have to lift a finger. I think that it's BS, and they're essentially just trying to sell you a product or service and have you believe that you can make that caliber of money while you sleep. Now, that's not to say that you cannot make money while you sleep, because I am a firm believer that you do make money while you sleep, but you making money while you sleep that's outside of the car industry or the rental space industry would be you either pretty much getting into real estate, or it would be the stock market, like stocks, bonds, annuities, that type of thing. Now, as it pertains to the car rental industry, you making money while you sleep, it would be you making money while you sleep as far as once the rental's out. Yes, you will be making money while you sleep, or you'll be making money while you sleep once you've scaled and you have a certain amount of employees. So keep that in mind. So for the concept of this video today, Turo is not a passive thing whatsoever. And I'm going to tell you why, but I'm also going to tell you how you can put certain things in place to still make it work for you if that's something that you're so choosing to do. So what a lot of people won't share with you about Turo is the workload that you have to endure, the workload that you have to go through for each vehicle. And I think that as time goes on with your vehicles, you learn how to become a little bit more efficient and a little bit better as far as how you're checking in and checking people out. But the truth about it is the cleaning. So after each rental, you have to clean out your vehicles, period. Even if someone only had the car for a handful of days, they bring the car back to you, it's relatively clean, you still have to do some type of disinfectant or wiping down. So take that into consideration. The next piece is how you check people in. So for us, I'm leaning and I'm learning more how to do remote check-ins, because Turo recently changed one of their policies. So now they're giving renters a 2-hour window to check in to get a vehicle. The thing I don't like about that is now renters are taking their time. So if they're supposed to have been at 10 o'clock to come pick up your vehicle, they have up until 12 o'clock. So they're not calling, they're not texting, they're not reaching out, they're not communicating with you. Hey, I'm going to be running late, or hey, this is my situation. So because of them having this 2-hour window now, it leaves you with only one of two options, which would be to sit out there and hope like hell they're supposed to come on time like they should. But if they don't, or they decide that I don't have to text you, I don't have to call you, I have 2 hours, the vehicle should be there when I arrive, because they're trying to compete with big guys, the rental agencies that are at airports. Even if you communicate with your client or guest and tell them, try and get an ETA, sometimes they stick to it, sometimes they don't. So option one, hope like hell they come like they're supposed to. Or option two, which is the road I've been going down, is remote drop-offs. There's a couple ways you can do remote drop-offs. One of them is having an individual lockbox that's on for each vehicle, that's on the actual window, so that you can leave your vehicle at your physical location or drop the vehicle off wherever it's supposed to be. And then your client picks up that vehicle at their leisure. And in the same breath, they also drop it off in their window of time and you're able to go back and pick it up at that time. If you have a brick and mortar location, I've seen individuals where they've had the very large lock boxes that hold maybe anywhere from 50 to 100 keys. I've seen some smaller ones that do like 30 or 40 keys, 20 keys. So that's always an option, that you have a lockbox drilled on the side of your building per se, that's secured inside of your location. And all they'd have to do is on your rental agreement or on your software, once they've provided the license and information, they then come punch in the code and they go get their vehicle. So that's another way you can go about that. Something else that a lot of people won't talk to you about online or tell you is the no-show guest. So once again, that's how the remote works well. But even after you've dropped off the vehicle, you still have to go back and pick it up if your guest decided to no-show. And unfortunately, no-shows happen. But I think that we're going to see no-shows a lot less now because Turo is providing the guest a 2-hour window to pick up vehicles. Something else that throws a wrench in things are early returns. Some guests will just decide, hey, I don't want the vehicle anymore. Or sometimes they truly need to go home or catch a flight. It's an emergency or whatever the case may be. If you're not able to get that vehicle on that early return, they'll leave it wherever. They do not care. Or if the vehicle breaks down, they'll leave it. They do not care. So it's on you now to go and recover your vehicle. And they know that Turo has them covered. Turo has their back, for example, or even if you're doing private rental. So that's something to take in consideration. One of the things that kind of irks me the most about Turo is the smoking violations and the way in which they allow so many people to get off with the smoking violation. Because once again, it's in Turo's best interest to keep as many people on the platform as far as consumers, not hosts. They don't need a bunch of hosts on the platform because they know that at some point those hosts are going to scale up and get more vehicles. So really, Turo is about the fittest will survive. But it's advantageous for Turo to keep as many renters on the platform and as many renters happy. And me, myself, I've submitted evidence that is clear as day showing ash, clear as day showing burns and stuff. And Turo will come back with it's inconclusive, which is interesting because if the next person were to go and get your vehicle and let's just say it smells like smoke, they have the option to cancel that rental. And what happens then is that cancellation would go on you. But what sucks is my vehicle smells like smoke because the previous person that rented the vehicle smoked in it, and now I cleaned it to the best of my ability. And so the next renter has to endure the smell of the smoke, which isn't cool for anyone, but that's kind of the game with Turo right now. So, take it or leave it. That's what you're left with. The other thing that people don't tell you about on Turo is the time spent dealing with customer service. You would think for a company that is as large as Turo and is making as much money as Turo is, they're a worldwide global company now. They're a software company, right? And so you would think that they've become more efficient and better at what they do, but that's not quite the case. So you will spend several minutes, if not hours, in a session waiting to get in contact with someone because sometimes your situation's not going to get resolved with that first customer service representative that you received. It may get resolved with the next person that's in the next department or the next person that needs to escalate it to someone else. And I've had it where I've needed to have a call escalated to 3 different departments, unfortunately, and there's no way around that. The other piece is you're usually dealing with someone in a third world country, especially for the basic things. So you're dealing with someone that's in a third world country that may or may not have English as their first language. So you're trying to express or explain a situation to an individual and they're not quite grasping the concept. So you're telling them 5 and 6 times what the issue is and what you need fixed. It can become quite annoying and repetitive. And you almost dread sometimes contacting Turo customer service because you're dealing with someone who is, for lack of a better term, is speaking broken English, or like I said, English is their second language. The other piece is not only is there a language barrier, but there at times can be a cultural barrier, and they're not quite understanding the severity of an issue or how time sensitive getting something resolved may be. So take that into consideration as well. The other piece that I would tell you about Turo is the calendar juggling. So what happens is you can set on Turo the times that you want to have your business open. Obviously, the longer your business is open, ideally, the more bookings you're going to get. So for us, we keep our hours open 7 days a week. So we're working Sunday to Sunday. And what I notice is I get a lot of drop-offs on Sundays and a lot of pickups on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so from a life perspective, you're going to get people that are wanting to pick up or drop off vehicles when it's convenient for them. And it's going to be in the middle of the day. People are going to want to do a drop off at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12, 8 in the morning. So my hours Monday through Sunday are 8 to 8. So I have individuals doing drop offs from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. I have individuals doing pickups from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. And so there's no real rhyme or way reason to consolidate that unless you just change your hours and say, okay, well, on these days, we're only going to work these hours. But, right now I have a goal of how much revenue I'm trying to generate to show to the SBA to get a loan for something else. So right now it's grind time for us, and we're trying to take and get as many bookings as we can, along with doing private. But specifically to Turo, there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's constant bookings for us. There's constant washing and cleaning vehicles, and also there's constant calendar juggling. So how do you really make money with Turo? The way you're really going to make money with Turo is the pricing strategy. You have to be intelligent about the pricing strategy. What I notice and see a lot of individuals try and do is they will dump or lower the price on their vehicles unnecessarily. Their thinking is as well, I'll get more bookings if my prices are lower than everyone else on Turo, which is a bad way to go about it, because when you do that, what I found is your vehicle will get rented out more often, but for shorter amount of times, because your price is less versus what the prices everyone else in the community or in the area are averaging. If you keep your prices the same as everyone else's, what's going to happen is it brings parity to that market. It brings parity to your region, that all these cars are going to be at $55, $45, $60. And I'm talking specifically for economy cars. So there's parity there. So no one is not going to make money because people are going to go on there and see, oh, well, all the cars are pretty much the same. It's just going to really come down to the guests and their hours instead of it being a price thing. So what I would say to Turo hosts is if you let Turo handle the dynamic pricing. I can't speak to how that dynamic pricing is for vehicles that are brand new or vehicles like a Corvette or larger SUVs. I'm speaking specifically for the economy car market. Let Turo handle that pricing on there, because they're going to adjust and float that price up and down for you naturally. If your car is not moving, say after 48 hours or 2-3 days, then I would say, yeah, of course, lower that price some then. But I wouldn't lower it anything drastic. I'd maybe lower it, 10% or so. So, if your vehicle is usually renting out for $5 $5, $55. Just lower it to $50, knock off $5 and be done with it. Maybe even $7, but I don't think you'd have to go that much. Trust me, the cars are going to rent out. It's not a question of when, it's just for how long and for how much. So don't get discouraged and think you need to, bottom out your price. Just stay strong. If all the hosts, lock arms, we'd be able to dictate the price better for our markets, really. But you always have this one or two guys that just believe that they're going to corner the market and they're going to get all the business. And ideally, you're not. That's just not how markets and industries work. You do have industry leaders, but you're not going to change your price so much that you get all the bookings. Like I said, all you're going to do is get a bunch of short-term renters and a bunch of wear and tear on you yourself and on your vehicle. So how do you go about making Turo feel passive with time? I would say automating as much as possible within Turo. So the easiest way you can automate with Turo would be to have drop-offs, right? Your remote drop-offs. That's one way for you to automate so that you're not having to handle or deal with the guests if they're running late. Drop the vehicle off, go on about your business, or leave it wherever you're supposed to leave it if it's your brick and mortar. Have have your key in your lockbox or however your setup needs to be, and go on about your day so that you're not sitting up waiting for guests to come to your location or for them to meet up with you. I would also have pre-written messages and thoroughly thinking out how to automate your guest flow so that they know and understand what to do, and you're not running like a chicken with your head cut off trying to figure things out. The other piece would be, outsourcing cleaning if you so choose to. You maybe need someone to come and detail the vehicle once a month, and you possibly do those small in-between cleanings on your vehicle so that there's less wear and tear. So yeah, you're going to be hiring out someone to do the cleaning. It's going to hit into your profits a little bit, but once you get to a certain scale and you have enough vehicles, it may be advantageous to just hire that help. The other thing is you may want to hire someone that'll do the actual execution of deliveries for you as well. That's another thought. So the other thing that I'm working on within my business and my space is actually I'm scaling into private rentals. I think that there is a lot more money for you on the private side, and you can control a lot of the craziness that happens within Turo, and you can charge additional fees for services and coverages that you just can't do with Turo. And one of the things that sucks about Turo is that, let's say for instance, tolls, you're spending X amount of hours per week just in handling tolls. So, you can either outsource how you have someone handle your tolls for you. What I like to do is I pick one day a week and I do all my tolls, especially being that for the state that I'm in, sometimes those tolls won't show up until 5 days later from the last day of a rental. So meaning that if someone rented a vehicle from me from the 1st to the 10th, then especially if they went out of state, then the last day of those tolls, I might not get that the 10th day of those tolls until the 15th. So if I miss doing that toll that Monday, then I'll catch doing the tolls for that vehicle the following Monday. So, or Tuesday. The other piece is getting commercial policy that'll help in making you money, because I see a lot of people trying to take vehicles and they'll have 3 and 4 and 5 different policies. They'll have 2 or 3 cars on each policy. It gets to a point where it's like, man, you may just want to get a building and house all your vehicles there. Get a commercial policy. It's going to be cheaper. That cost is spread across all of your vehicles instead of you paying, you trying to skirt the system. It's really just going to hurt you in the end, and you're doing a bunch of extra work unnecessarily. So just remember, and I will leave you with this: Turo is not passive. It's a hustle. It's a flow. It's a grind. You got to get to it. If you want to make money, you got to get to it. The people that say, oh, there's no money in it, I didn't make money, it sucked, it was horrible, they didn't have any systems in place. They just thought they were going to put a car up online, it would run itself, they wouldn't have to do anything. That's furthest from the truth. It takes work just like anything else in life, and anything worth having is worth working for. So stay positive in this. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share. Leave me some comments. Let me know what works for you guys, what hasn't worked, what softwares you guys use. We're a community, so sharing, really pushes us forward. So that's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe.